to this. So Boyd finally climbs out of this hole after the stranger above throws down a rope. And the guy looks like,
"Come on now, bitch, ain't nobody trying to see that shit!"
And he turns around and says,
"Are you from the town?"
And I'm just watching like,
why do you know that? Why do you know that?
Then he asks Boyd to kill him. And of course, good-hearted Boyd refuses to do it.
Leave no man behind. You help me, I help you. That's the way it goes, got it?
But then after he mentions this, of course in real TV show fashion, we cut to the residents of Colony House. And these new arrivals from the bus are getting unruly. And understandably so, because I wouldn't really be on board with the idea of spending a night in a diner with a bunch of strangers with guns after just pulling up in this backwater town. But this guy just rubbed me the wrong way since his first appearance on screen. Like, I just wanted to over here bullying the black guy on the bus. That's why I'm glad he got barfed on. But meanwhile, all this is going on, Jim, the bartender, and a newcomer are all trapped in the rubble of that house that collapsed. And of course, the newcomer wakes up and starts freaking the fuck out. And I'm just sitting here watching like, shut your lame ass up before you alert the monsters. I do feel sympathy for this guy because he is bleeding internally unbeknownst to him, Jim, or the bartender. But now we cut back to... And as Boyd is helping him, a creepy music box starts to play, and he tells Boyd he has to get out of there before it stops. But guess what Boyd does? Yes.
We're out of time!
My blood is your blood now.
Yeah, he doesn't listen. But now we cut back to the town, where Boyd's son is outside with his girlfriend, who is running around, yelling, at nighttime, trying to save people.
We don't care. At all.
Like, I'm sorry, call me selfish, but if night falls and I'm in this situation and these newcomers don't believe me and decide to stay outside, they're just gonna have to get... And if people ask me what happened and if I tried to help them, I'm just gonna sit there like,
it's $2, god damn it,
But while she's doing this, rightfully he tells her,
We tried, there's nothing more we can do, okay? Come on.
and this motherfucker starts yelling again.
If you can hear me, you have to run. You have to run and be as quiet as you can. There are things out here, things that if they find you, they'll...
You keep talking, man, and you shut the fuck up.
She's so dedicated to trying to save these newcomers that the monsters get within feet of them, and he finally yanks her inside, and she starts going apeshit.
What?
I know.
We have to do something.
Maybe there was nothing that we can do.
The back door. Ellis, we can literally sneak out. We can bring them inside. We can bring them inside.
I know.
Stop fucking running.
Like, motherfucker, are you stupid? I know you've seen the remains of those bodies once the monsters are done with them. The last thing I'm doing is going outside at night for any reason. But of course, she's being overwhelmed by the insanity going on around her, and finally she breaks down, also calming the fuck down finally. But meanwhile, back in the rubble, the newcomer is screaming about wanting to go home, but all I'm hearing is,
So you have chosen death.
because if he doesn't shut his damn mouth, they'll all die. But then...
What's wrong? What the
fuck?
Gotta be quiet.
I'm fucking bleeding from my fucking mouth.
His condition is starting to get worse and symptoms are starting to appear. Now, I did feel some sympathy for this guy because it's literally a lose-lose for him. If he stays in the rubble and continues to bleed internally, he's going to die like he eventually does. And if he goes outside, he's gonna get...
Muy bien. Muy bien.
Meanwhile, at the diner, this fucking guy manages to get unruly and take the deputy's gun and tries to take him hostage. But the colony house leader ain't going for it.
I'm gonna put down those guns and open the fucking door, or I'm gonna put his fucking brains on the wall.
And you're gonna have to shoot him. And I'm gonna have to shoot you. Because you sure as shit ain't opening those doors.
Which I understand, because at this point it's either he opens the door and everyone gets mauled to death by monsters, or he shoots the deputy in the head and then she shoots him and only him and the deputy die. So it's either two of them or all of them, so good call on her part. And we cut again. Now we're with a couple of newcomers that are in a cabin in the woods, and you hear the monster screaming and the girl says it's a coyote. And her boyfriend rightfully says,
Oh, it's not an animal, Kelly.
You don't know that?
Grew up on a fucking farm. I know what an animal sounds like.
But then somebody comes to the cabin like, and I guess it's the boyfriend's turn to be stupid because he goes to open the door even though his girlfriend, rightfully so, is telling him not to.
Please help us. Please.
Like, man, even if I'm home, I'm not letting some stranger into my house just because they come to my door saying they need help. I don't trust people like that, so she's right in this situation. But he opens the door and we cut away. And now we have this devious motherfucker, the most notorious monster of them all. And of course, he gets on the bus and...
You picked a bad spot.
Muy bien. Muy bien.
Now back with Boyd, he's walking in the woods after being scratched by that guy, and he sees a bunch of monsters walking, and he's basically like,
I couldn't hear you over the sound of me myself.
but lucky for him, he finds the truck where Victor and Tabitha have been hiding after escaping the monster caves.
What are you doing out here?
Get in, hurry. They'll see you.
And right on time, the young guy from the bus shows up being chased by monsters, but of course Boyd doesn't recognize him, so he's just like... But he lets him into the truck eventually, and of course he asks some questions because he wasn't there when the bus arrived at the diner. But meanwhile, in the house rubble, Jim and the bartender are trying to comfort the newcomer with promises of pancakes at the diner in the morning, but sadly...
Nice and easy.
You gotta cover his mouth, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some vital organs got punctured from the rubble collapsing on him. And if that wasn't bad enough...
Muy bien. Muy bien.
Like, damn, you gonna kill two back to back like that? Shit! And of course, Jim just has to lay there in silence listening to the bartender get mauled so he won't be next. And of course, his daughter Julie hears the bartender getting mauled, but she thinks it's her father, so she starts going crazy trying to get to him.
Julie, no, no, we have to go out there. No. Please, we have to help. You can't. Julie, no. No, we have to help. Please. Okay. Yeah. No, it's okay. No.
But thankfully, they calm her down. And then time passes and the sun's up and they finally are able to go outside, and she made sure she ran outside.
Yes, Julie!
And who do we see sprawled out on the ground first? Yeah, poor guy. And now seeing this, the monster not only mauled him, but it dragged his ass outside and then just left him on the ground. RIP to a real one. You will be missed. At least Jim got to survive though. And the bus driver is in such disbelief, she just had to step on the bus and see shit herself. And who does she stumble across? The old couple. Yeah, they got their ass.
Muy bien. Muy bien.
And oh yeah, now Boyd has this to deal with. And I feel like Victor must know what those things are under his skin, since he's been looking at him a crazy way while they're heading towards town.